Right now, you might be taking a sip of coffee to wake up. Maybe you're vaping. Maybe someone you know smokes a cigarette. Maybe you've heard of people using cannabis or other substances to relax after a long day. It feels like a very modern habit. But here's the strange part. Humans have been changing the way they feel for an incredibly long time. Older than written history. Older than the first cities. Older than most of the civilizations you've ever heard of. The question is, when did ancient humans first start smoking or getting high? And perhaps even more surprising, why would they want to? To answer that, we have to go back long before anyone rolled a cigarette, long before tobacco, long before farming, back to a world where every plant was either food, medicine, or a mystery. Imagine you're an ancient human walking through a forest hundreds of thousands of years ago. You don't have doctors, you don't have pharmacies, you don't even know which berries won't kill you. Everything around you is an experiment. Over generations, people begin noticing something strange. Some leaves ease pain. Some roots make you sleepy. Some mushrooms make the world look different. Most experiments probably ended badly. The people who guessed wrong didn't exactly leave reviews. But eventually knowledge survived. Parents taught children. Elders taught the next generation. Little by little, humans built the world's first medicine cabinet, except it was growing in the ground. But medicine wasn't the whole story. Some plants didn't just heal people. They changed the mind. Nobody knows who first discovered that certain plants could create strange visions or unusual feelings. It may have happened by accident. A seed thrown into a fire, smoke drifting into a cave, a curious child chewing the wrong leaf, or someone desperate enough to try anything. However it happened, people remembered. Thousands of years later, we finally start finding real evidence. One of the oldest comes from a remarkable place in the mountains of western China. In 2019, archaeologists studying the Jersenkal Cemetery found wooden braziers containing burned stones. At first they looked ordinary. Then scientists analyzed the residue. It contained cannabis, not the weak wild variety that grows naturally. A stronger form with higher levels of THC, the chemical that produces a high. The cemetery is around 2,500 years old. That means people weren't simply growing hemp for rope or clothing. They were heating cannabis over hot stones during funeral ceremonies. Think about that. People may have been breathing the smoke while saying goodbye to the dead, not for entertainment, for ritual, for grief, maybe even to feel closer to people they believed had entered another world. And that's where this story becomes much bigger than smoking. Here's what makes this so important. Ancient humans weren't just trying to escape reality. In many cultures, changing your state of mind was believed to help you understand reality. Shamans across different parts of the world used plants during ceremonies. In the Americas, tobacco became sacred long before Europeans arrived. In parts of Siberia, some groups used fly agaric mushrooms in religious traditions. In the Amazon rainforest, mixtures of powerful plants were prepared for spiritual rituals that continue even today. Different continents, different cultures, the same basic idea. Humans kept discovering ways to change consciousness that can't be a coincidence. But here's the thing, not every ancient society was smoking. Many were chewing leaves, drinking plant mixtures, brewing herbal drinks, eating mushrooms, or burning herbs that released chemicals into the air. The goal wasn't always getting high. Sometimes it was easing pain. Sometimes it was staying awake. Sometimes it was speaking with spirits. Sometimes it was preparing for battle. And sometimes people were probably just curious. Honestly, humans haven't changed much. If someone tells you a mysterious plant does something unusual, there's always one person willing to test it. Now let's talk about tobacco, because that's the plant most people think of first. Wild tobacco evolved in the Americas. Archaeological evidence suggests people were using it thousands of years before European contact. Some ancient pipes discovered in North America contain nicotine residue dating back over 3,000 years. For many indigenous cultures, tobacco wasn't an everyday habit. It was a sacred one, used in ceremonies, offered during prayers, shared to seal agreements. It carried meaning. That meaning would change dramatically after Europeans arrived. When explorers encountered tobacco in the late 1400s and early 1500s, They carried it back across the Atlantic. Within decades, smoking spread across Europe. Within centuries, it spread around the globe. Something that had once been deeply connected to ritual became an enormous commercial product, and eventually, an addiction affecting millions. Quite a plot twist for a leaf. But cannabis followed its own path. For thousands of years, it had many jobs. Its fibers made rope. Its seeds provided food. Its stalks supplied material for clothing. And in some places, its flowers were used to alter the mind. Different cultures emphasized different uses. Sometimes practical, sometimes spiritual, sometimes both. Researchers still debate exactly when humans first intentionally selected stronger cannabis plants. But discoveries like the Archaeological cemetery suggest people were already seeking more powerful effects over 2,000 years ago. That's surprisingly sophisticated. It means ancient people weren't simply stumbling into these experiences. They were making choices, testing plants, passing down knowledge, improving techniques, generation after generation. When you zoom out, a pattern starts to appear. Humans have always searched for ways to change how they feel. Coffee wakes us up. Tea calms us down. Chocolate improves our mood. Alcohol relaxes people. Medicine eases pain. And throughout history, countless cultures experimented with plants that affected the brain. Some discoveries improved lives. Others caused suffering. Many did both. That's what makes this story so fascinating. It isn't really about smoking. It's about curiosity. The same curiosity that pushed humans across continents. The same curiosity that invented fire. The same curiosity that eventually built science itself. Sometimes curiosity gives you antibiotics. Sometimes it gives you someone eating a random mushroom because... So here's the full picture. Long before history was written, ancient humans learned that certain plants could heal. Then they discovered some could change the mind. Over thousands of years, that knowledge spread through rituals, ceremonies, and traditions. Around 2,500 years ago, people were likely inhaling cannabis smoke during funerals in Western China. Thousands of years ago, indigenous peoples in the Americas were already using tobacco in sacred ceremonies. Eventually, those ancient discoveries traveled across civilizations and became part of everyday life for billions of people. So the next time you see someone drinking coffee, lighting a cigarette, or talking about cannabis, remember, the human desire to change how we feel didn't begin yesterday. It reaches back into prehistory, because being human has never been just about surviving. It's also been about asking one dangerous question. What happens if I try this? If you enjoy exploring the strange history behind everyday human behavior, there are plenty more ancient mysteries waiting to uncover.